Hey you guys, it's Linnea. Today I have a video creating 4 cards using the Rina K Designs Electro-POP line of products from ThermOWeb. So I'm going to be using her Electro-POP inks as well as her new Neon Glitz Glitter Gel. And I'm going to be using the Sweet Stuff Stamp and Stencil. I love these stamp and stencil combos because you can use just inks and there are layering images. So for like the popsicle, you can stamp the striped popsicles and have a 2-colored stripy popsicle. You can stamp the glaze on the donut or even some sprinkles, and you can definitely just use your inks to build up some of these cute little sweets images. But when you combine it with the stencil, and then there's also the Rina K Designs Neon Glitz Glitter Gels, there's the new flock transfer sheets, as well as new enamel transfer sheets, you can really get a huge variety of sweet treats for your cards and other projects. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to be creating 2 kinds of ice cream cones, popsicle and donuts. I completely forgot about the cupcake image, and when I was done making these 4 cards, I was putting my things away and I was like, oh, I should have made some cupcakes. So that will surely be in the future because you can't forget about cupcakes. They're one of my favorite desserts. So I'm just going and stamping with her Electro-POP inks. I'm using 6 of the colors. 4 of them are going to coordinate with the Glitz Glitter Gels. The Screamin' Green, Hello Yellow, Poppin' Pink, Orange Glow are the 4 that she has for the glitz colors. But then I'm also going to be pulling in some Potent Purple and Blaring Blue, and actually those are the 2 that are on screen right now. So I went ahead and I stamped the stripes for the popsicle, the little scoop of ice cream, and the donut. And then I'm going to stamp the cones to be actual cone colors. You could definitely stamp these with the neons, but I thought it would be nice to bring in some neutral. So I stamped out the cones, and then I'm going to also stamp the layering image on top. So you can see like this, you can definitely use the stamp set on its own and maybe bring in some muted tones and then give it a pop with the Electro-POP line of inks as well. So I'm just going to go through. I ended up stamping everything in these 6 colors. So I am going to, and I will show you when I'm done, I'm going to have a lot of images. And so I'm going to create 4 cards, but I put like 5 images onto each card. So if you wanted, you could just put 1 image on each card and have a whole bunch of cards. So here is the coordinating Sweet Stuff stencil. I sprayed the back of it with some pixie spray. And I am going to start off with these fun swirly ice cream cones. This is one of my favorite summer treats, is to go and get soft serve ice cream. So I just positioned that stencil over top of the sugar cone. And then I'm going to use a small palette knife. You could definitely use the stencil pal. I went with the smaller palette knife just because I found it easier to add just a little bit of the Glitz Glitter Gel. So I left a lot of adding the Glitz Glitter Gel over the stencil in this video. And this video is one of my longer videos. I usually like to keep it short and sweet, but I kept a lot of the stenciling and the assembly of the cards in this video because I learned kind of as I was going, I like to add a thick application of these Glitz Glitter Gels. So on these first couple, I was kind of adding it on and then really scraping the excess off. And you got a lighter application of that Glitz Glitter Gel. It's definitely still neon, it still pops right off the page, but you're gonna see as I go along when I get to like the scoops of ice cream, I think I did those last, and you're really going to be able to see the yellow show up on top of the neon inks. So here's the donut. I didn't even have to respray this stencil with pixie spray as I was adding all of these images, or rather the detailed, onto my stamped images, because that pixie spray held tight throughout this whole project. Here is where you're going to be able to see as I peel this away that green doesn't really show up on top of that orange glow ink, and that is because I scraped so much of the excess off. But if you go in with a heavier application, and I'll show you that later, you're going to be able to kind of build up that color. Now I do want to mention that the Glitz Glitter Gels I'm working with right now are just my little sample sizes. So the Glitz Glitter Gels from Rina K Designs are going to be the same size as the Gina K Designs Glitz Glitter Gels, and you'll get that full size when you order off the website. So here I am coming in with the Poppin' Pink Glitz Glitter Gel on top of the Hello Yellow ink for this donut. And you can see here I added a thicker application, so that's more opaque. Okay, still continuing on with the Sweet Stuff stencil. This time I'm going to make some backgrounds. I actually made 3 backgrounds, but I'm only going to show you one because they were all the same way. I positioned that waffle cone type texture over on a card front, and this is a full A2 size card front. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to grab the same 6 colors of ink that I used to do my stamping with. So the Screamin' Green, Hello Yellow, Poppin' Pink, Orange Glow, Potent Purple, and Blaring Blue. And I have just these little sponge fingertip daubers, and I'm just going to kind of go in and add little blobs of color. Now I am making sure to add blendable colors next to each other. So orange is a hard color to blend with others. You can really only blend it with yellow and pink or red. So I put the orange down right in between the yellow and the pink. Once I was done with that side, the stencil isn't wide enough to cover a whole card base. So all I did was just peel that stencil back, shift it over to the right, and then I did the same exact thing over on the right side. And I am using some of the 1 1/2 inch wide purple tape to help with my masking so that I don't get any cross-contamination of inks over on the side that I don't want it on. Okay, so I finished up, and like I said, I did 3 backgrounds, but here you can see how cool that looks. It almost looks tie-dyed with those blobs of ink. So I decided to use one of those ink panels to be a full background on one of my cards. The other 2 I cut up and I split them up between the other 3 cards. I kind of fanned out the sugar cones with the soft serve ice cream on top, positioned them on my card the way I wanted them to be, and then I took some of that 1 1/2 inch wide purple tape and picked them up all at once so that I could work with them as one piece. To reinforce that of just working with the one piece instead of the 6 individual cones, I added some iCraft Ultra Bond liquid adhesive underneath where the cones would overlap. Now I'm going to go in with some Gina K Designs white foam squares. I like these foam squares because they are thin and easy to work with. I added those foam squares onto the backs of those cones, and I even added it to where the cones would overlap just to kind of hold those cones together. I'm going to add that to the center of my card, and that will just give me a little bit of dimension on those cones. So pretty with those Glitz Glitter Gels, the neons, against those Electro-POP inks with the stenciled background. I'm bringing in the Sweet Stuff stamp set again, and I'm going to pick out a sentiment, and I will stamp it in black ink using my Misty. Now, I didn't like the black ink. Usually I'm a huge fan of a crisp black sentiment, so that was just my go-to for stamping. And as I was looking at this, I realized that I don't have black anywhere else on my card, and so that black sentiment, instead of standing out for good reasons and being crisp and black, it was standing out for all the wrong reasons. So I went ahead and used the Poppin' Pink ink and stamped that sentiment once again, trimmed it out with a slight border, and then I just popped that up using those Gina K Designs foam squares right on top of where I had originally stamped that sentiment. And so this is my first card. Now, like I said, I stamped a whole bunch of each of those images. So here are all of my pieces. And so I decided I might as well keep going and just create some more cards. And I was kind of thinking, what is the opposite of the card I just made with that bright, bold background with all of that inking on it? So I took one of those other panels that I inked up the same way that I did on camera a couple minutes ago, and I just trimmed down a little strip and added that onto some black cardstock. I used Gina K Designs tape runner to adhere the cardstock, and then I'm once again using Gina K Designs foam squares to pop up these little scoops of ice cream. And here you can really see how thick I applied that Glitz Glitter Gel. I think these were the last ones I did, and so I had kind of learned along the way not to scrape off a whole bunch. It looks so much more vibrant when I leave a little bit of extra on. I stamped a sentiment from that Sweet Stuff stamp set, and I heat embossed it with white powder, and so that really stood out from that background. And this is my finished card. Check out all that glitter. It's so, so awesome. So here I'm going to finish up 2 more cards, and these are kind of similar. They're all kind of similar. I mean, they definitely, all 4 of these cards look like they go together. I cut down another strip of that stenciled paper, and I'm going to use my donuts now. And I decided that since these donuts are larger than the other images, I was just going to use 3. And I kind of played around with placement for these, but I decided that I really loved that donut stamped with the Hello Yellow ink, and then it has the Pop and Pink Glitz Glitter Gel on top. That's one of my favorite color combinations, pink and yellow. It just screams happy to me. So I'm going ahead and using the iCraft Ultra Bond liquid adhesive along with some Rina K Designs foam squares, and I am just going to create this quick and simple card. So that's the finished product. I just love how that glitter gel pops with those Electro-POP inks. Okay, my last card is very similar to the donut card. I'm going to take a strip of that stenciled paper. I'll use my Rina K Designs tape runner and just adhere that into the middle-ish of my card. And then I'm going to arrange these popsicles how I want them to go on my card. You're going to see me use that same trick with the purple tape that I did with the soft serve ice cream, except this time, since these images are skinnier, I'm going to use the 1/2 inch purple tape, and I'm just going to grab a strip that's just about as long as my card, and I will lay that across all of those popsicles and then pick them up all at once. That way I can flip them over and apply adhesive to the backs of these popsicles, and then I'm kind of lining up that purple tape with the waffle cone pattern that I've stenciled on the background. That way, when I add my iCraft Ultra Bond liquid adhesive and these are completely covered in adhesive, I can flip this back around and line up that purple tape so that I know it's going to be straight, and these little popsicle images are going to be right where I had them in the first place. So it really takes the guesswork out of everything. Okay, so I just laid those popsicles down and peeled back that purple tape, and it will peel off so easily, and it didn't rip my cardstock or pull up the Glitz Glitter Gel or anything. That's why I like to use the purple tape for this trick. I have a stamped sentiment from the Sweet Stuff stamp set that I stamped with the Screamin' Green ink and trimmed around that to leave a slight white border. I'm going to use some of those Rina K Designs foam squares, but I'll do a double layer this time so that it pops up a little bit above those already popped up popsicles. So here's that last card that I made. So cute and so happy. Makes me think of summertime. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed these cards using the Rina K Designs Neon Glitz Glitter Gels. Remember that there are the flock transfer sheets as well as the enamel transfer sheets as well. I hope you enjoy this whole line of neon products and that it makes you think of summertime and just brings a little bit of happiness into your craft room. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!